Number one reason for success is people focus on things that have high potential consequences. Number one reason for failure is people focus on things that have low or no potential consequences. The famous Drucker quote, very worst use of time is to work intently on something that need not be done at all. And one of the things that is holding back entrepreneurs, business owners, it's killing them, by the way, and it's wiping out an entire generation, is this obsession with technology. I see people that are walking with their phone. It's almost like drug addicts that are mainline. They cannot stop staring at their screen. They cannot stop pushing their buttons. The fact is that this obsession with looking at the screen and staying connected is killing people because it stops them from focusing. You cannot focus if you are distracted like an attention deficit disorder dog. So you're constantly ringing and responding to bells almost like a crazy person in a toy factory.
Warren Buffett was at a dinner party with Bill Gates and Bill Gates Sr. And they were talking together because Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are good friends, have been for a long time. And Bill Gates' father, very, very successful businessman in Seattle. They were at a dinner party and the three of them were talking, chatting away. And somebody came up to them and asked them a question. And he said, "Excuse me, gentlemen, these are two of the 5 richest men in the world. Both started with nothing, by the way, started at zero. Warren Buffett started with $2,000 that he earned by delivering newspapers when he was 14, 15, and 16, and is now, his company is worth $360 billion, and his company's made $24 billion last year. So, anyway, so they came up to him and they said, "Gentlemen, excuse me for interrupting you, but we've just been noticing you talking, and we had a question for you. What would you say is the most important skill for success?" And they all three turned to him and said the same word simultaneously: focus. Focus is the most important requirement for success. With focus you can do anything, and without focus you can do nothing. Focus is the key to success. But all three said it simultaneously without asking each other. Focus. And it's really interesting because I began teaching this concept back in the year 2000. I began a coaching and mentoring program that I called focal point coaching. You know, the focal point is where if you hold a magnifying glass in a certain way, it'll have a focal point that burns, and you can burn through things. Well, so I called it focal point. And I taught thousands of business owners, and have still all over the world in multiple languages, how they can look at each part of their business and focus on the one thing in each area that they can do right now that will have the greatest positive impact. Everything else they do has a lesser impact or no impact. And your ability to select the one thing that can have the greatest impact on your life at any time, and focus is the key to your success. That's why I'm so concerned about I call it the attraction of distraction. It is so disturbing because it guarantees failure in life. You actually become addicted to distraction and you can't stop it. You're just like a dope addict. You've got to have your distraction. And if you are addicted to distraction, you can't focus. And if you can't focus, you haven't got a chance against someone who can. What do most people do in the morning? Most people in the morning, they turn on their computers and they check their email for a few hours. And they turn up their bell, so it goes ding, 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 and they're like, attention, deficit, disorder, children, ding, ding, ding. By the end of 2 or 3 hours, their brain is so flooded with dopamine that they're incapable of concentrating on anything. And so distraction, technological distraction today is killing you. It's destroying your hopes for your future. It's keeping you busy, and at the end of the day, you've accomplished nothing, and you're exhausted. But I want you to think about it, because most people slip into this attraction of distraction, and we're not even aware of it. Many of you are a little bit surprised when I talk about it, because you hadn't even really thought about it. You hadn't even really thought about how much time you spend during the day distracted. And the answer is about 80%. And the rest of the time, by the end of the day, you're too tired to do anything worthwhile, to do the really important things that have big potential consequences. According to a recent report, every time that you respond to a new impulse and a new distraction, it burns up part of your brain energy. At the end of a day, of a typical day today, the average person's IQ has decreased by 10 points. That means throughout a distracting day, you get stupider all day long. And by the end of the day, you're just plain stupid. You've gone from college level to basically driving a truck in terms of intelligence. And this is really serious. There's some very in-depth scientific articles on this, that it stimulates your mind so much that what happens, every stimulus triggers dopamine, and dopamine has the same effect as cocaine on your brain. It's a stimulus, and you get addicted to this dopamine stimulus, and you cannot not surround yourself with stimuli. You cannot not watch your computer. I mean, many people get up in the middle of the night and go and check to see if there's any email, any spam. Then they go back to bed. They can't sleep, and they lay sleep. They wake at night. Anyway. My point is that if I ask my business clients this. I said, why are you in business? I mean, what's the purpose of your business? Well, it's to make sales and profits. I say, well, if that's what your business is, then do you spend all of your time making sales and profits? Well, sort of. Do you know what the average business owner today spends only 11% of their time in marketing and sales? All the rest is distraction. And they don't even realize it until somebody follows them around with a camera and a stopwatch. The average business owner today is so distracted that they're distracted away from what they do. So I'll give you a very simple way to double your income. Here it is when you start in the morning, leave things off. Don't check your computer or your iPhone or anything else. There's nothing there that's important. A friend of mine in New York wrote a book 2 years ago called Don't Check Your Email in the Morning. And then she just goes on to explain why checking your email in the morning starts the addictive process. And then you're addicted all day long. You just can't get out of it. It's like an alcoholic or a drug addict that takes a drink. They can't stop drinking. You take a shot, you can't stop. So don't turn it on. Leave it off. And the rule for success today is leave things off. Leave things off. So the reason you're in business is to generate sales and revenues, then all you do for the first 90 minutes of each day is you do revenue generation and value creation activities. That's all you do. Then you take a 15-minute break, and then you start again and do another 90 minutes, and all you do is value creation and revenue generation. The reason why you're working is value creation, revenue generation. So if that's the reason why you're working, discipline yourself to do just that. Don't do anything but that for the first 3 hours. Just make it a rule. We don't turn on our computers until noon. Now, the first time you do that, you're going to have a revolt, probably riots. People will go crazy because it's like taking the dope away from people who are addicted. They go into convulsions, and they will go into convulsions. But you'll have to do it yourself. You'll have to go through your own convulsions first, and then you'll have to pass it on to others.
You have to have just one thing in mind: keeping on track, closing out all the noise and the clutter that gets in your way. You've got to identify your target. Let nothing stand in your way. You've got to keep your eye on the target until you've released the arrow. Let nothing capture your attention unless it's in the best interest of your ambition. If you don't keep your mind on what you're doing, if you don't keep focused on the task at hand, it could slip right on by you. Wherever you are, be there. Whatever you're supposed to be doing for the moment, do it. You can't be thinking of everything you have to do at one time. All the time. You have to concentrate on just one thing at a time. One project, one job. You have to take it one task at a time and complete it. Do what you've set out to do. Keep your mind only on that one task. Why? If you don't, you won't accomplish anything. Concentration takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to demand privacy, to keep the do not disturb sign on your door while you're in the middle of an important job. It takes a lot of discipline not to answer the phone every time it rings at home. That's why they make voicemail and answering machines, so you don't have to answer the phone every time it rings. Your family will appreciate an uninterrupted dinner hour. Your night work will get done a whole lot faster. Concentrate on the work at hand, and demand of yourself the discipline to stay focused. If you have a long list of things to get done within a day, do the toughest ones while your concentration is at its peak. When you're at work, be at work. When you're in a conference, be in that conference. When you're at your kid's school play or soccer game or dance recital, be there. Don't let your mind wander. Stay focused. Stay focused on the task at hand or the company you're with. Don't let your mind wander during conversations. You never know what important points you'll miss. Stay focused. Stay true to where you are and what you're doing. Use your discipline to keep your mind in line. When you recognize the need to concentrate more, when you recognize this need, and when you discipline yourself to stay focused, it will come easier and easier. Focused concentration can be learned. Focused concentration can become a habit. If you work on it a little every day, the easier it comes, the less energy you'll waste on making your mind mind you. Make your mind pay attention. Discipline yourself to be where you are. Work at work and play at play. Don't mix the two. Concentrate. Give your job the attention it deserves. Give your family the attention they deserve. Give your colleagues the attention they deserve. Wherever you are, be there. Concentrate.